Hi everybody, today I'm going to be doing a makeup look for Diwali. This is a hugely special time of year for many Hindus, Jains, Sikhs and also Buddhist people who celebrate the festival all across the world and particularly the Southeast Asian diaspora. I wanted to talk a little bit about the meaning behind Diwali before I get into the makeup look today. Diwali means the festival of light, and all across the world where you see families celebrating the festival, you will see lots of lanterns and candles that are lit to adorn their houses, to adorn their rooms, to adorn kind of where they are in the celebrations that they are having in kind of coming together and celebrating the festival. But there's a bigger and deeper meaning behind it. Diwali stems from what was known as Lord Rama's return to Ayodhya, his kingdom, after 14 years in exile into the forest. And it's known or said that the pathway to his return was adorned with all these candles to come back into his kingdom. So what was known as kind of the forest and the darker days where his 14 years of exile took place, that kind of like was taken over from all these lights then coming back into his life and for him to re-enter into his kingdom. It's also the day that Lord Vishnu married Lakshmi, and there are lots and lots of people who do Lakshmi pujas or Lakshmi prayer on the first day of Diwali, which is kind of commemorating the start of Diwali. In India, there's a 5-day holiday, and that begins with pre-ceremonies in the run-up to Diwali. So you have what is called Dhanteras, you have what is also called the Lakshmi Puja, you then have Diwali, and for Gujaratis we also celebrate our New Year the day after Diwali. And the final day of all of those celebrations is what's known as Bhai-Dooj. And it's a moment between brothers and sisters coming together and celebrating that relationship and that bond between two siblings. Dhanteras Puja is when a lot of families who have businesses will conduct prayer ceremonies and what's known as pujas to bring in good spirits around their businesses forthcoming into the new financial year, and to bring lots of dhan, or what's known as money, to come back into their businesses. So it's kind of an offering to the gods of kind of Dhanteras and to bring that all back in. You then have the Lakshmi Puja, which is kind of like the day to sort of symbolize and mark Diwali. And all across India, you will notice lots and lots of people taking part in fireworks and celebrations around that, having their houses lit with all these candles and lanterns. And here across the UK as well, we do lots of that as well. We get together with our family members and friends and have big get-togethers, pretty much similar to what we would do at Christmas time, and we'd also have celebrations of fireworks as well. And then on New Year's Day, which is the day after Diwali, particularly for Gujaratis who have this big kind of focus around New Year's Day, and we always used to say Nutan Varas na Abhinandan. That means Happy New Year. And we would get together and again continue on with those celebrations. Gifts are kind of exchanged between elders who will partake with those gifts with their young children or family members, and it's just a real lovely time to kind of come together. I remember when I was growing up as a child, New Year's Day was a massive thing for our family, and my grandma who used to live with us, with her being the sort of focal person in our family, many people would come around to come visit her, to pay their respects to her on New Year's Day. And we always used to have big kind of get-togethers and dinners on that day. Everybody in the family would take the day off if it was a weekday, and there'd be a massive kind of celebration around it. For me, what's really important is to instill that kind of celebration into my children. So I do still make a big deal about Diwali. I definitely make a big deal about the New Year as well. And not only giving my children Christmas presents at Christmas, but I make a point of them knowing that Diwali is also a big time for us in our culture. And the way I kind of celebrate that with them is I make lots of different types of foods that I wouldn't normally have time to make during other parts of the year. Make sure that everyone is really nicely dressed up, even if no one's coming around to the house on Diwali, because it happens to be a weekday. And we'll do some fireworks, we'll do a little puja, and we'll also kind of get together and exchange gifts with the children so that they know and understand that this is also a big part of their culture. So having said all of that, Diwali and New Year's Day is a massive part of our culture, and I wanted to do a makeup look which represents how I would dress up if I was going out to kind of celebrate Diwali, or I was getting together with family members, because I know many of you are going to be doing that. And this Diwali look, and in all my looks that I do, I usually tend to sort of start off doing them wearing Western clothing. And there's a reason why I do that, so that you can see that this makeup look will work with any type of clothing that you wear, whether that is Western attire or whether that's your Eastern or Indian wear as well. You can kind of jazz it up to a different level and it can work for both. So let's get started. I'm going to be using Plantscription Moisturiser by Origins. It's got SPF 25 in it. It's a beautiful anti-aging cream and it's got dill extract. I'm just going to take a little bit and just put that onto my skin here, and then I'm just going to use a skin massager to sort of really penetrate that in. It's an oil-free moisturiser, so really suitable for in the sun. I've just got my colour here, so I'm just gonna really plump up the skin. So I've got my moisturiser on, and the next step that I'm going to take is I'm going to start doing my eyes first, because I'm going to be using a pigment today. It's a loose pigment, and I know it's really messy to kind of use it sometimes, so I don't want any fallout onto my skin once I've got the foundation on. It's a Makeup Forever pigment that I'm going to be using, and the colours that I'm going to be doing today are a fusion of golds, champagne colours mixed with some browns and pinks, because my sari is a beautiful kind of fuchsia pink sari that I'm going to be wearing, and it's got lovely kind of embroidery around gold, and the jewellery and accessories that I'm going to be wearing are similar. So I'm going to start off by doing my eyes first. First step is I'm going to prime my eyes, and what I'm going to be using is Model's Own concealer coverage. I'm just going to put that all across my lid, and then I'm going to set that with powder. This is the one I'm using, and it's in medium 02. Just going to take a flat brush and just start to, and particularly when you blend it out, it just all marries up quite a bit. Now you'll notice that there's very different forms of makeup that I'm doing when it comes to Indian makeup, or when I'm wearing Indian wear. I tend to go stronger on the makeup, whereas sometimes if I'm doing a no makeup look, or I'm doing a fresh rose kind of look, or I'm doing a daytime look when I'm wearing Western wear, I won't go as strong on the makeup. But this is absolutely suitable for if you like it strong during the day for an occasion that you're going to, or particularly if you are going to an evening out, and this look would be really suitable for a glamour night out, or a red party kind of look, or a special occasion in the evening. So now to adding on powder to set that, and we always do that so that the eyeshadow, and the reason that we put the primer on is so that the eyeshadow doesn't crease. I am using my favourite, the Delilah Cosmetics powder. And you can see there's not much difference there between this kind of colour and the rest of my skin. I just don't like it too extortionately pale across the eyelid area. This is the Tarteist palette, and I'm going to use these colours here, and then for transition I'm going to use these colours here, and then I may kind of add in maybe a pop of glam here, but I'm going to amplify that up with the pigment that I'm going to use for Makeup Forever. So I'm starting with the colour Innocent, and I'm going to start to put that on the outside of my crease, working inwards, and just create a soft flush along the crease. So that's forming the transition into the lid area. Next I'm going to go with my second colour, and this is Mad in the same palette. And I'm just going to take that slightly under and start to sort of like soften that into the crease. And then just with the second brush, just start to blend that in and just take it out a little bit. And I always like to sort of take it out up to here and at that end point, because that's how I kind of do my wing liner and where I want it to stop with the point of my eyebrow. Don't worry if it goes a bit too high, you can always wipe it away. Okay, so you can start to see the basis of how that's looking on the crease area. I'm now going to darken this up and just take in a darker shade on the ends and just bridge it into almost a quarter way into the lid. So the colour I'm going to use is Drama. I'm just starting on the end, just bringing it in. You can start to see how darker this side is compared to that side, just on the ends. I'm now going to go in and put on the colour shade No Filter just above and into the crease area again, just because this is a much more deeper tone between the crease colour that I've used and the colour that I've used on the ends of the eyes, and it kind of marries everything up, but it has a nice sort of flush of pink into it, so it creates a warmer kind of shade at the top here than looking too harsh and too cold. So I've got it on and I'm just going to add on top so you can see the difference between the two, and I'm just going to softly blend that out. Okay, so that's forming the basis of the contour around the eyeshadow area for the eyes, and now I'm going to start brightening up what the lid was going to look like. So I'm going to go into the same palette and I'm going to add in the Glam Shimmer colour. Just get it as close as possible. And then what I'm going to do is, using the brush that I have the darker shades in, I'm just going to blend that inwards so it looks like it's transitioned. So that's the lid done, and now I'm going to put on the pigment, and you'll realise why I'm doing this, because the pigment is so much of a richer, denser sort of tone to it, and it's got shimmers of gold and pink into it. It then is just going to really make the lid sort of pop, and when you add on the black liner into it, it just really sort of gives it a full effect into the different colours that I've got into my eye area. Now that's what the pigment looks like, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a flat brush, I'm going to spray it a little bit with fixing spray, and then I'm just going to dip it in and I'm literally going to press and glide it on. You can also use your fingers for this, but I just don't want to get too much messy with my fingers today because I may be using them a little bit later with my foundation. This is actually a lip brush, but because it's quite narrow and it's flat and it's quite firm, I like this brush for this. And then when you kind of just take it from the lid, look, it just goes into a bit more of a creamy sort of texture onto the brush, and I'm literally just going to press that on. You can see the difference that it makes by placing on a pigment as opposed to just having an eyeshadow. You can also do this with an eyeshadow by just sort of spraying some fixing spray into a brush and then taking that onto your brush from the eyeshadow palette. But I've got these pigments and I don't use them very often, so this is a great excuse to use this one, particularly because I love the colours in it and it's so matching to kind of what I'm going to be wearing. So I'm just going into the inner area as well to just lift, and that's what it looks like. So when the light hits the colour, at some points it may look like a tone of sort of soft pink, some points it may look more deeper into a gold, and that's why I love this pigment colour, because it's got kind of two-tone sort of shimmer into it. And by doing this, you're also making sure everything falls away from the kind of lid area here, so that when you wipe it across, it's all going to be fine. Actually, every makeup artist's worst nightmare is when any of her makeup breaks up into her makeup kit, but particularly when it's pigment or glitters, it is just sad. And then just press that in, and this is a buildable pigment, so you can add on as much as you want. I'm probably going in quite a bit into this area, and then just taking that into the inner duct and then just brushing it through. There you go, and that's what it looks like with the pigment on. Now I'm going to go in and just blend that through with a clean brush, and then we're going to get on to eyeliner. So I've got my Maybelline gel pot here, and I'm going to use that for my liner. So I'm going to go in with my liner now, and I'm going to start from the middle, working outwards. I'm then going to go in from the inside and bridge those two together, and then I'm going to finish off with the flick. Now if you struggle with eyeliner, here's the best way to do it. Your end point on your eyeliner should be diagonal, where your eyebrow stops and where the eye stops as well and meets diagonally. So if you want to kind of go ahead and do kind of a marker, the best thing to do is to add in a small little dot with your eyeliner and then to bridge those all up. And I'm going to show you how I do that. Press a little dot here so you know that's where your flick needs to stop, and then you can bring it back down into the center. It's not the center, but the end of the eye. And then when you're bringing it through onto kind of the finishing from the middle to the end, just bridge those up, and I'll show you how I do that. So for example, you can take this part and just create a line here, so you know that's going to be your finishing, and then start on the middle and just work to the end where it meets and join them up and get as possibly close as you can to the waterline so that there's no gaps between the eyelash and the lid, and work into the lid into the lashes as well, so that it's all totally black and it looks like it's a part of your eye and eyelash. And then on the end here, to make it thicker, you could leave it at that if you wanted a really thin flick, but I always like it thicker, so what I would do is I would just go in and join those two areas up. Okay, so I've thickened up the line and made it all marry up together, and that's the easiest way of kind of doing a flick liner. Start with the dot, bring it into the eye, work from the middle, bridge that through, and then work from the inside of the eye, bridge that through as well. Then look at the eye with the eyes open, and you'll know how thicker you want your liner, or if you're happy with it as thin as you've done it, that's fine too. So that's the eyeliner on. I'm going to go in and now fill in my brows. I'm going to use my favourite again, the ELIXIR eye powder. So I'm just going to mix the wax and the powder and then start to fill those in. Now I'm going to get on with base, and I'm going to be using the SMASHBOX Photo Finish Colour Corrector first. It's a colour correcting blend, a slight peach tone to it, and this just kind of helps with sort of correcting up my skin. It's got a nice sort of silicone base to it. Best to just use this with your fingers to just push in to the skin. A little bit around the eyes. Definitely around the nose area. It's a lovely consistency, this product, because it's a little bit smooth, glides on, doesn't feel too harsh or sticky, but yet kind of goes on with that sort of silicone, almost like oil sort of texture, but it's not an oil, it's not quite fully silicone either, and in terms of the harshness of it or how kind of dry it can be. So it feels really lovely on the skin after the moisturiser, but before foundation. So for foundation, I'm going to go in with MAC Cosmetics in NC35. This is their moisturising SPF foundation, and I'm literally going to take a couple of pumps here onto my skin. This is also their mineralising foundation, so really good. I'm going to use a beauty blender for this, I think. I'm going to use a beauty blender for this and just spritz it a little bit, and then just start to literally just get it on. Okay, so for some coverage on some of the areas where I've got a few blemishes, I'm just going to add in the concealer that I used before from Models own. Take a little bit here to my hand. Literally what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark them out here and just smooth it over on my skin and just pat it in with my finger. I've still got the reminiscence of the mehndi that I had done for cover shot, so it's still on my hands. The lovely Selena helped me out with it. I'm going to go back in and I'm going to use a little bit of a lighter and softer kind of texture. I've got the Chanel concealer here and I'm going to use this to highlight these areas, and this is in 40 beige. So I'm going to just go in, tap it on into this area, and I'm going to use my beauty blender. And then you can see the difference that one makes with that eye. It just lifts everything up a little bit more, makes this area prominent as well, like you've got cheekbones, rather than sort of like dragging it down. So it's all dependent on the colour shading in terms of what you use to kind of lift your skin, or whether it's used for correcting. And then whatever's left on this, I'm going to pat a little bit here, a bit around this area, a little bit here as well, just to lift. May actually just run that through there, a little bit there as well. Okay, so that's my base done. Now I'm going to go in with some contouring, and that is to sort of cut into the skin to kind of make and create cheekbones and sort of define certain shapes that I want to extenuate in the skin. I've got the SMASHBOX Cosmetics dark concealer here, and I'm going to use that to kind of draw in the lines that I want around it. Around the forehead. Okay, so that's my contouring, highlighting done. I'm now going to set my face in certain areas, and then I'm going to add on blusher, and finally I'm going to do my lips and my under eye areas and put some lashes on. So I've got my favourite Delilah Cosmetics powder here, and I'm just going to blusher. I'm going to use the Bobbi Brown palette, and I'm going to go in with this shimmer colour, and this colour is Pink Coral. So I'm going to just put that onto the apples of my cheeks. So that's my base done, that's my blusher done, and that is my powdering done. I'm going to spritz my face with some CAUDALIE Beauty Elixir to keep everything set in place. I'm going to go ahead and put my lashes on. I'm going to wear ELIXIR lashes in definition, and they're in number 126. I have worn these before and I do love them. They're full on glam. That's my lashes on. I'm going to go ahead now and do my lipstick. Before I do that, I just forgot almost that I'm going to put some liner into my waterline. I'm using the RIMMEL liner, and this is their Master Smoky shadow pencil, so it doubles up as a smoky eye. You can use it for that, and it's got like a little blending brush on the other side, so you can use it for smoky eyes, but also you can put it on as a waterline eyeliner as well. I also want to kind of just define the eyes a little bit, so I'm going to go back into the Tarte Cosmetics palette, and I'm going to use some of the eyeshadows to just create a little bit more depth around the ends of my eyes, joining up into kind of the eyeliner area. So I'm going to go back in and use the colour Vamp and just that on the ends of the eye, and then I'm going to go in with Drama and just add that from here. So these are the same colours. So that's my eyes done. Let's go ahead and start to put on the lipstick. Before I do that though, I am going to go and get changed into my outfit and then come back and do the finishing touches with my jewellery and then put the lipstick on, because it's so much more easier when I've got everything on to just choose what type of lipstick I want to wear. I've actually got about 4 selections here and I'm really unsure as to which one I want to wear. So I'm going to go get my clothes on and then I'm going to come back and finish off with the lipstick. So guys, I've got my outfit on. I'm going to do the finishing touches. So first things first, letting go of my hair. And this is quite a special saree that I'm wearing here today. I wore this at my cousin's wedding and it was the first time that everyone saw me pregnant with Shivai. So this saree is really, really sentimental because it brings back a lot of memories of when I was expecting him, and that was a very happy moment. So I always like to have like sarees that remind me of things, and most of my sarees do, because I've only ever worn them at special occasions, and those special occasions always have memories that are associated with it. So I'm going to put my jewellery on now, and I have these beautiful pieces. These are the earrings. I have got a Dika. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to wear that today, but let's start with the necklace, and this is what it looks like. That's the necklace, and this is what I got from Southall Broadway. Just make that a little bit more tighter. That's perfect. So that's the necklace, and now for the earrings. When you start to put all your jewellery on, your outfit on, often it can seem like your makeup is too much. And I've had that comment quite a lot of times by people saying, oh, I just feel, don't you think my makeup's a bit too much? And I always say to them, get your outfit on and get your jewellery on, and then it will all come together. And when I do bridal trials for brides, when they come over, that's exactly what I ask them to bring. I ask them to bring their jewellery and I ask them to bring their outfit, because it gives them a really clear understanding of what they're going to look like on their wedding day. I've got the NARS palette here and I'm going to do some highlighting now. So I'm just going to get my little brush, and today I'm going to go in with the 2 kind of golden bars in the middle, and they are called Galette and Creek. And now for the final few touches, I'm going to go with lipstick, and I'm not quite sure what I want to wear. I've got kind of 4 different choices of lipsticks here. I've got this one by MAC and it's in Pigeon Pink, so I'm not sure whether to go with that. I've got Pat McGrath's lipstick here, and this is in Fuchsia. It's their Blitz Trance lipstick, and it's got a gold kind of glitter into it. And then I've also got Pixie, and this is like their Pretty collection with Chloe Marola, and again this is kind of like a glitter gloss. And then last but by no means least, because a lot of the time I prefer matte looking lipsticks, is the Vivid Matte Liquid Lipstick by Maybelline. And I'm literally just going in directly into the lips. Yeah, I'm liking that. So that's my lipstick. I'm going to put my bindi on now. So I'm going to put that one on. I'm going to take a black one because I'm super into these small black and coloured bindis at the moment. That is the final look, guys. I hope you've enjoyed my Diwali getting ready with me look today. This look is suitable for any event, whether it's a glamorous party, special occasion that you want to go to. And I hope from doing this with me or watching this with me, you can understand how the look can work for any Western attire that you're wearing, plus also any Indian attire or Indian occasion that you might be going to. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a very, very peaceful, loving and safe Diwali. And from me, do leave your comments down below if there's anything else that you want to know from me or other videos that you want me to do. I'd love to do them for you. You can catch behind the scenes footage on Instagram and on Facebook. You'll also find me on LinkedIn and Twitter as well. For now, I want to wish you a very, very happy Diwali and New Year and Sal Mubarak for some of you that say Sal Mubarak, and for others who say Nuttan Varsh na Abhinandan. Have a very beautiful time on this festive season, and I will see you next time. Bye!